So, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us
tonight.
Thank you for your call.
So exciting, actually. We are very close to the 1,400 registrations. That's wow. That's amazing. Yeah, it's wonderful energy, guys. Thank you for joining. And yeah, just wondering really, what can we create today, tonight? What can we change? What magic can we spread all over the world?
So when we talk about reality, and the topic for today is creating a relationship beyond this reality, there are certain things, like in this reality, there are limitations, and you have your own reality, your neighbor has her own reality, your ex-partner has her or his own reality. So each reality has their own limitations. There are points of view, there are belief systems, there are judgments and expectations. These are describing the reality. And if you look around, maybe there is no such relationship around you that would work for you. Maybe you tried so many in the past. And the question is that, what was the basis, what was the energy that you were functioning from, or what was the consciousness that you were functioning from when you were playing with these relationships, when you were creating these relationships, when you were maintaining these relationships? Was it based on the reality, as you know? Was it based on your parents? Was it based on your friends? Was it based on celebrities? Was it based on what you learned or what you experienced before? Was it based on past life experience? So what was it based on? Because what you did in the past, oftentimes we function from that to create our future. So all the failures of our past will be sort of like the basis. All the pain, all the suffering will be the basis to create our future. Are you willing to acknowledge that? Are you willing to really be present with what is the space that you are functioning from, and start to see, like, willing to open up the space of what would you like to create and what is the future you would like to have? And here comes the next thing. You may say, okay, because I haven't seen that ever, because I haven't recognized it, I haven't experienced it ever, I cannot choose it. It's not part of my reality. I never seen that, so I cannot choose. I cannot figure it out myself. Is that really true? Like, do you really have to see, do you really have to have it in order to create it? Or is there a possibility to ask questions and really start to tap into that reality that is beyond yours? And you know, sometimes or oftentimes your friends or your neighbor's reality at some levels are beyond yours. But I'm not talking about this kind of reality, but the reality that's beyond of all of our realities. A reality, and it's not just beyond, because let's say the reality on planet Mars is beyond the reality because it's in many ways it doesn't cover what we have. It's about what if, like, all the ways how we are thinking, all the ways how we are creating, and all the different ways you go beyond it, like all the dimensions, all the layers. If you let go of linearity, if you let go of everything that has any reference points of who you are today and what's working or what's not working for you today, all the reference points on planet Earth, and who knows how many planets you've been lived in, how many dimensions you've been to, how many professions you had, how many ways you've been a witch or a magician, or how many ways you've been an enlightened being or an infinite being. Going beyond this reality, would you allow yourself to have no reference points to anything, no reference points of what you expect is beyond this? So just allow yourself to really have a clear space where there are no reference points, no expectations, like nothing, just a clear space. And what is the energy and space and consciousness that can show up for you when you start to ask questions like, what is the relationship that would create more for me? And when you ask this question, there may be the idea that that has to be one relationship, or that has to last for all eternity.
Forever and ever.
When you start to do this, you suddenly start to put in these points of view and also start to create again from expectations and reference points. This is the thing what we don't really want, because that's what will create again a limited possibility. Like, would you allow yourself to really start to receive that space, the space of infinite possibilities? Really, if everything was possible and nothing was limited, what relationship I could have? What is the fun I could have? What is the form of this relationship could have? Does it have to have one form? Where did I buy into that my role in a relationship is this and my partner's role is that, and we have to stick to it?
Yeah, and you have to do always only that, because if you do the other one, they will judge you, or your partner will judge you.
Or it will just not work. So all your reference points to a relationship, to a standard of a relationship, to how a relationship can work, will you now destroy and uncreate for all eternity?
Yeah.
All your standards about your past, all your standards about your present, and the standards you try to create for your future, will you destroy and uncreate for all eternity. To have no standards, to have no reference points, to have no expectations. No expectations towards your partner and towards you.
And actually, are you willing to be the standard, or are you willing to change that and create your own reality and your own life?
What if there is no standard but you? Functioning from the infinite being that you are in a relationship. And all your points of view about what is a relationship will destroy and uncreate. What if you can really choose beyond? What if you can really, you really can have that level of ease where you don't have to solidify anything? Like, why did we buy into we have to solidify it and say, this is a relationship, now I finally reached it, finally it starts to contribute to me, it's good, it can't get any better than this, so I really have to sort of like stop it, like not stop it, but solidify it, so
because
it will not change.
now it's all good, now it's perfect. But you know, when you say and when you experience, I mean, when you want to everything be perfect, you can just kill all of it. So when you say, okay, this partner is perfect, this relationship is perfect, I need to stop like that, because from here it can be worse. How many of you are thinking like that, or how many of you or us as well did it in the past? And you just kill everything.
Beautiful flowers. So the question is that what if you don't have to have any,
si tu n'avais pas à avoir,
you don't have to have any kind of point of view, any kind of format for this relationship? You don't even have to force it to be present for all eternity, or you don't have to force it to be maintained. And what did we buy into? What is a relationship? So everywhere where we have any kind of points of view, any kind of reference points and expectations about relationships, everywhere where we made it significant to have a certain kind of relationship. Because I want a relationship that will contribute to me. And what does it mean, contribute to me in my idea? That it will help me, that person will support me, that person will be kind to me and nice and gentle. But honestly, sometimes you have to be kicked into your ass to move your ass. And if this person is not going to do it, there is a big part in your relationship that you will miss and you will not go further at all. So if you say contribution and you think behind it, that nice, kind, caring, and
This
gentle.
is all limitations, actually. What if a big kick, it's greater and it creates much more?
Not continuously.
But sometimes it creates much more in both of your life and together than is, oh yeah, you are so kind, you are so nice, and it's just nothing, no energy there.
Like what if, and when we say not sticking to only one relationship, like when we are looking for the perfect, you would say, okay, I need to ask that future relationship to have this kind of quality, like the person should be able to be nice and should be able to be very rude and evil, that would like from in those moments could move me or trick me out of that situation. What if that person is not capable to do like changing his or her mind and perspective or character? What if it's totally okay to have people in your life who have different characters and they can show up in different moments, in different situations when you need them? What if you don't have to stick with one person and say, this is the only person I relate to, I have a certain level of relationship? What if you start to expand your capacity of receiving from more than one person? Like, how many enemies you have that you could learn from?
And you are just shut down. You cut, foo, I hate this person. I don't want to receive at all. But what if that person is the greatest contribution and you can learn a lot and you can receive a lot actually?
The problem is that at the moment you can't because you shut it down.
Because you have points of view. This person is my enemy. I have to hate him.
Like,
or her.
You have many girlfriends and one of them is trying to get your partner. And then you say, oh, it's terrible. That's a bitch. What is she doing? I hate it. But what is that person doing that you could learn from, that you could receive? What is that person doing amazingly that you are not willing to do because you are judging that quality? You're judging that space. Are you willing to recognize it? Like, if you would expand out your capacity of receiving to that level at least, that how much are you willing to receive your partner and receive that much from all other people around you, from the people that you hate as well, how much information, energy, and consciousness you could receive, become aware of, and have clarity about, how many tools you could have and gain with all of this. Tools that's not just for relationships, not just for relationships between partners, but even in business partners or family relationships or all other kinds of relationships. So everywhere where you made it significant to have only nice, kind, and caring people around you, will you now destroy and uncreate for all eternity? And what else can you have in your life? Like, who else can you add to your life? It doesn't really mean you have to have idiots around you.
From now, you always have to have, the not normal people and the not nice people and enemies around you. It doesn't mean that.
But even if it is there, if they are like that, if there are people like that, because obviously there will be people who will keep choosing to be mean all the time.
Not just with you, but with everyone else,
or maybe just with you.
With themselves as well.
Are you willing to receive them? Because when you choose to receive them, that is a relationship. And when you choose to not receive them, that is a relationship as well. You relate to them somehow.
And it's up to you
How
which
you
way.
relate. So what do you choose? How to relate? Because you can relate to people in a way that you don't receive them, you don't contribute from them, you don't figure it out what the fuck is happening. But you can relate to people in a way that you are in communion. You can be in communion with the idiots, and as a result, you won't become an idiot. You can relate to all the bitches or all the assholes, all the evil people, and still you will not become any of them.
Unless you choose to be.
That's a different thing. But receiving them will allow you to see them, will allow you to have access to their tools, to their choices, to their points of view, to have the energy and space and consciousness. What is the level of communion that you are willing to have with yourself? What is the relationship that you are willing to have with you? Are you willing to be conscious with yourself? Are you willing to be totally honest with yourself? How can we have a relationship with someone else if we are not willing to be present with ourselves? And everything that brings up, we destroy and uncreate all that. Like, what do we expect from ourselves? What do we expect from a future relationship? What did you buy into that it can give to you that you can't achieve in any other ways? That this is the only way it can give to you. Where did you make it significant? And would you allow yourself to be honest with yourself and see what works for you? Because there is a big difference between it works for me or I say, this is what I want. Is there any question in the, this is what I want? Or it's rather about, okay, now I recognize it works for me. So how can I have this with greater ease?
And how can I have it much more? You know, if you have that, what you are asking for, if you have that relationship, that partner, or, you know, it can be any kind of relationship. It can be a friendship or a business ship or anything. How does it get any better? That's why we ask the question, because it can be always greater. It can be show up a greater possibility all the time with that person or with that situation.
So what is the space that you really would like to function from? Because that can be very limited or it can be infinite. Are you willing to function from a space of infinite possibilities with relationships? When nothing is significant, but you still, so when you can recognize what works for you, it means what creates more for you. When you can recognize that, it's not from the space of polarity. It's not from the space of right or wrong. You don't make things better or worse. You just recognize it because you recognize if by choosing that, what can that create for you in the future? And it's not just, or it's not selfishness to recognize what creates more. What creates more comes from that source of your very nature. As an infinite being, your nature is the continuous expansion. That's why we are looking for all the time, how can I have something greater, something better? It's not megalomania. It has nothing to do with that. It's about recognizing that the continuous expansion is also part of the communion. You can only have communion in the space of continuous expansion, because that's required to recognize, to have the capacity to receive everyone, to be present with everyone and everything around us. What relationship can you create if you are present with all relationships, if you are present with all beings, all qualities, all energy, space, and consciousness around you, and what life you can have, what changes and what creations you can have. Like a few years ago, we were playing with this space. There are so many amazing methods how you can tap into that space of infinite possibilities. And we were looking into, like, what is the actual reality now on planet Earth about relationships? And we were playing with that, like using these tools to see how does it show up? What is the maximum possible on planet Earth for relationships?
At that time, because it's changing always.
And it was really interesting. It showed that a man and a woman together, they can create an amazing relationship.
A creationship, actually.
And it wasn't purely about, how to say, about genders. It was about two people. And the interesting thing was, from the moment the child showed up, that relationship between those two people and the energies that would, like, between those two people would create more, it started to be separate. And when the child, the energy of a child came out from the picture, it was again, like in communion, creating more. The question is that, if this is the maximum possible, or if this was the maximum possible at that time, 4 or 5 years ago on planet Earth,
what has changed?
are you willing to see beyond that? Because if you would like to have something greater than this, and obviously for the future, we would like to have all something greater than this, there should be, we should be able, and we should choose to go beyond this. You don't have to know how it will look like.
You don't know how to do that.
It's not a problem. You don't have to logically know. It comes from the choice. When you start to choose that, I see this is what it is now, so you can recognize it. That's an important part of it. But when you start to choose to go beyond, a different space can open up. A different space about relationships, and that will open up for you. It may not open up for everyone else, but it opens up for you. And the possibilities, or those people, or those situations, or those different formats of relationships can start to show up for you. And also for those who are choosing that. And the amazing thing is, you will find all these people and all these situations. So are you willing to have more than what you have today, or are you willing to have more than what is possible today in this reality? That's why we are looking, how can we go beyond? And how can we go beyond is by choice. But can I choose something that I don't know? Yes.
Definitely. And please choose it.
Like, I don't know what is beyond this, but I'm choosing that.
If the energy is there, and if that creates more, choose it. And it doesn't matter if it's not exist at all, or no one did it before. It doesn't matter, because if it works for you, do it. And the how to do that, and what, around all of this, it will show up for you. You will know everything. You will know the steps.
And don't worry about it, because by choosing something greater, it doesn't mean you have to walk on that path that will show up. Because when it shows up, you can say, oh, okay, this is one of the possibilities that is greater than, or that is different. But actually, I don't really like it. So what else is possible here? You don't really have to actualize it into your life. But by starting asking these questions, it starts to show up for you. So you can say, now I see it, so I will choose it, I will actualize it for myself. So that's the point, that's the moment when you can start to actualize it and make the steps that's required to have it in this reality. So what did we buy into about relationships? What did we buy into about life and creation that doesn't really allow us to create the life that we desire to have?
And that relationship, what we really desire.
And everything that brings up for you, all the different energies or points of view and expectations, will you now destroy for all eternity? And how does it feel for you now?
How are you?
How is your body? Like, would you allow yourself to be present with your relationship with your body? Like, how was your relationship at the beginning, like before the call, and how do you feel now with your body? If you are present, if you tap into your body, all the different layers of your body, how do you feel? What shows up? And what if it doesn't have to take too much time, it doesn't have to take even that much time as now to change any of your relationships? Because the basis of a relationship is you. You create the relationships from your own space. Do you feel shit in that relationship? Okay, what have you created?
Can you change something here?
And are you
Yeah,
willing to change it?
You can change it this or that way.
Because when you say, oh, I can't change this relationship because this relationship is sort of like given, it's solidified because of the other person, where did you make significant that other person?
Who is the source of your life? This question is always coming back, always. Who is the source of your life?
So actually, would you like to change a relationship with someone who is not willing to change? Or are you willing to have a different relationship that works for you? And when did you decide that you are not allowed to have a different relationship?
Or you don't deserve it. And you have to punish yourself. When did you buy into this shit? You have to punish yourself for something.
For all the things that you have done in the past that you
for
don't even remember.
For all the good things, you have to punish yourself.
You have to pay twice as much to earn it.
And everything that brings up, would you destroy and create forever and ever, right now?
So what if you allow yourself, what if you allow your body, and you allow all your relationships to start to change? Like, when you allow yourself as an infinite being to really function as an infinite being, to really function from the space of infinite possibilities, that means you can change like the wind. You can change in any moment all aspects, all characteristics of you. There is no such thing that you have to solidify. And that will also allow you to sense the changes in these relationships, the changes in people around you. Because this level of fluidity or flexibility will allow you to sense the flexibility in the world around you. That means it will allow you to be able to live in a constantly changing world. And actually, the universe around us is changing constantly.
All the time.
Your friends, your family, the people around you, they change their mind constantly. There is a continuous change around us. It doesn't mean their being or their nature is, everyone's nature is continuously changing, but the energies and the situations and how things are created are just changing. There are always different combinations of possibilities and different situations. Would you allow yourself to keep changing and also to have the capacity to recognize everything that is changing around you? Recognize the change, recognize where does it come from, how does it move, what is the direction it's going. Because, it's not a big deal. When you had your first relationship, you were willing to tap into that relationship, you were willing to tap into your partner, into that person that you were full in love. You were really willing to be that present, to read that person's mind.
And you're willing to know everything about that person, and you were willing to do whatever it takes to get together, to meet with that person, to be close to that person, to touch this person, or everything. You were willing to do that.
So how much of that was like really nonsense? And how much of that was from the space of recognizing what creates more for you and willing to do everything for that? Because you recognize, wow, this relationship or this experience or this moment with this person would create so much for me, therefore I'm willing to do everything for that. And maybe you didn't describe it that clearly to yourself, but you sensed it, you knew it. Even if you don't cognitively write it down, you know it. It doesn't really matter if you really described it with all these words. Like, how much of love that we call love is not nonsense? And does it have to make sense to us what is love? How much of love is about recognizing how the energy goes, recognizing what creates more? How much is that about stepping into a space where you are more present with yourself, you are more present with that person that you choose? Like, are you willing to be in love with the whole world? Like, a lot of people says, like, oh, this person is in love. I see that he is walking above the clouds, and and these people are so kind, much kinder to everyone. They are willing to be in communion with other people as well.
So are you willing to be in love with yourself? Are you willing to be in love with your life?
So are you willing to like recognize that what is really love about? How much of that is really have nothing to do with being an idiot? And of course, there are times when there are people and there are situations when they are really full in love and they are fooled. They fool themselves and they are not willing to see the reality. So it's not about the word love, it's about the energy behind it. What is it functioning from? What is that person is functioning from when they are in love? When your partner says, oh, I love you, what does it really mean? Of course, it means something for them. And what does it mean to you? How much of that is your point of view? How much of that is their point of view? How much of that is from this communion, from this sense of willing to be present with you, willing to be in communion with you, with your body, with your whole being, with everything that you are? How much of that is from that space? So how many people around you are willing to contribute to this level of communion? How many people around you are looking for that? Whether consciously or unconsciously. Unconsciously, unknowingly, but still sensing that there is something greater, there is something beyond that. There may, at the moment, there are no words for that. Are you willing to go beyond, even if there are no words for that? So everything that you made significant about it, that how should it look like, how should it show up for you, who should it be? Like everywhere where you try to solidify that this is the only person who can be my partner, and if it's not that person, then it's not worth.
End of the world, and oh yeah, I can't do anything after that.
Everywhere where you say, oh, my ex-partner was, oh, he or she was the
I
best.
want that back. So I want this quality back. But what if there is such greater, much more greater than that?
What if it's not one? It doesn't have to be one person, though it can be one person. But what if you don't have to solidify, you don't have to stick to any of these past experiences? Are you willing to see an experience for what it is? It was something that made you more present, more conscious, that gave you more clarity about the situation. And because of that, you can recognize the same around you now. Cool. What else is possible? What if I can have even more than that?
Yeah, what else can I choose now? What greater possibilities can show up for me now? Because I'm choosing that.
And if any of these relationship ended up shit, therefore you are not willing to receive from these people, what if you can change that as well? Because it's up to you how much you receive.
Yeah.
You can receive from people who are mean or who were mean to you as well.
You can start to receive them right now.
You don't have to wait for anything. It's not like a New Year resolution.
Tomorrow, I will change. I will change everything. I will change my life.
You can change now.
Why would you wait until tomorrow? You can do it right now.
I'm choosing to receive all the people, all the doubters, all the haters, all the people who don't care, all the people who are evil, mean, little assholes.
And also the nice and kind people who are too nice to you and you just can't receive them because it's not possible. They are just too nice. They want something. I know. How many times was it like that? They are just too nice. I'm sure they want something at the end. But they didn't want, they don't care. They are just nice.
And what if they want something at the end? What if it would work for you? And what if it's up to you if you choose that to give it or not? Because at the end, it's still up to you if you choose what's at the end. And what if it's not the end, but opens up something greater as well? And you can always be in question. Like being in question is the willingness to change. The willingness to see that there can be something greater, there can be something different. So are you willing to be in question with your relationship, with the people around you? And obviously with yourself, with your points of view, with your expectations, with the things, with the masks that you try to force on a situation or on people. Like, is this like all your points of view about people and situations or relationships? So will you destroy and uncreate all the masks that you force on them? And the masks that you force on yourself? Like, if they start to see me that I'm not like that, then it will be terrible. If they start to see me that I'm different in each and every moment, oh, it's terrible. Where did we buy into that other people's point of view is important? And also, how can you use it to your advantage? Like, nothing is right, nothing is wrong. We can say, oh, their point of view, it's terrible. No, it's not terrible because you can use it. Are you willing to receive their points of view? Oh, they see you as perfect. Amazing. How can you use it? Oh, or they see you as wrong. Perfect. How can I use it? Are you willing to use it? Are you willing to be present?
And are you willing to be wrong? There's nothing wrong with that, to being wrong.
Like every time when you stop yourself, because when you buy into it, it's significant. The judgment is significant, how they judge you. Therefore, if they judge me, I stop myself. I'm not willing to receive them. I don't want to know more about this person. I had enough. I mean, that judgment was more than enough. Fuck, I don't want to have more. But if you are willing to go beyond your first block and second block, or all these walls that you create, these beyonds, you're willing to go beyond, that will allow you to start to use these tools, to start to see these possibilities that are beyond the limitations.
So what else is really possible now?
And of course, we say this is about creating relationship beyond this reality, but it's not just relationship. Because your whole life, if you look back, how did you get here where you are today? It wasn't just you. You were always relating to people around you in certain ways. But what if there is nothing wrong with relating to people? But what if you don't have to solidify how you relate to someone? Like, you don't have to relate to someone one way. But you can allow yourself to perceive that person. So the way you would relate at that very moment, in that millisecond, what if that way could be something that creates more? Like, what if you could relate to people always in a way that creates more? So if you have to relate to someone as an asshole, are you willing to include that in your reality, that, okay, in this very moment, I will be an asshole with this person. And maybe 5 minutes or a minute, even a minute later, I could be something else with this person. And what if that creates more for you, if someone is an asshole with you in that situation? Because that's what can really help you in that moment to open up your eyes. Even if I'm totally stupid, I'm willing to receive consciousness. I'm willing to receive possibilities, even if in the moment then I'm an idiot. Or even in the situations when I bought into, I have no luck. What if you can have luck and success and ease all the time? What if you can receive contribution all the time? So all the different ways we are relating to each other, or to people, or to business, or to our own body and being, everything that you made significant about it, and everything that doesn't allow you to change it,
or go beyond, or go further what you have right now,
where you destroy and uncreate for eternity.
forever and ever.
And would you allow your whole being, your whole universe, not just what you are today, but in all dimensions and beyond time, like all the different layers of time that you are functioning from, would you allow all of that to change and to restructure?
Right now.
Like, can you create a new and a different reality? Can you create a reality beyond this reality if you try to function from a limited reality, or you try to solidify something in the past you had? So would you allow yourself to have the space that space where you can change continuously, where you don't have to solidify anything, because we solidify things in order to prove it's all good, or it's in order to prove others it's right what we are doing. What you don't have to prove, it's right what you are doing. It's not about there are no situations when it is not required, but when we function from that, like 100%, like 24/7, then you have no choice. It's not from the space of consciousness, it's not from choice, but it's from must. So what else is really possible with relationships beyond this reality? What if each and every cells and molecules in your body can receive you? Would you allow your body, your whole body, and each and every part of your body to receive you, and actually to have the communion with your body? Like, what is the distance between you and your body that doesn't allow you to program your body with total ease? Like when you see someone and you would like to show your best side, your most beautiful face, your most beautiful body, but you have an amazing and huge gap between you and your body. Because until that moment you always said, oh, my ass looks like this, my tits looks like that, my skin, my hair looks like that. With all this judgment, you create a huge gap, a huge distance between you and your body. And then days later you try to tell your body, hey, change this way, hey, change that way. Fuck, there is that distance. It's not going to do anything. Your body can't hear you because you always talk to your body from that distance. So how you relate to your body? What is the relationship that you create with your body? And what is the distance required between you and all the cells of your body that would allow your body to start to listen to you?
And start to change like this.
Is that distance, or is that about the lack of distance, or having no distance at all, which is being in communion, in total communion with your body and all the cells of your body?
Being present, 100% present with your body, with yourself, with all the molecules, with everything. Because if you can do that, or if you can do that, so if you are willing to do that,
of course, how can I do that?
You can change.
Do you choose to do that? Do you choose to have that level with your body?
And actually, when you judge your body, whose judgment is that? Or why do we judge our body? What is the point of view? What is the limitations or expectations we have regards our body?
What have you made significant about these points of view and about your body?
These points of view? Is it yours, really?
Just because you think, do you think it's yours?
Because I have to look like that. Yeah, but why? Did you ask the question, what's the reason I would like to look like that? Because of someone told me, because I saw a photo and the social media, tells this and that, or something greater is possible with your body. It's totally different energy. This is totally different.
It's like trying to change your body and creating something greater from the space of judgment. Will that really work? Are you going to have more ease with your body if you try to change it from judgment?
Never works. But you already know that. I know it as well, of course. Yeah, but can you change that? Yes. With total ease. Yes, you can.
So will you choose it? And of course, you can say, I go to sleep today and we'll choose it from tomorrow.
No.
Can you choose it now? Oh, but I have to change this and this and this. Will you change it now? Oh, but it's too late. I have to go sleep.
And when this coming up, the buts, yeah, I want that but.
It's not the perfect time.
Would you destroy and create all the buts? All the excuses? And if there were no more excuse in your life, what would you choose? No more excuse right now. What would you choose?
Because actually you can start to change everything right now, and things can keep changing overnight. While you are sleeping, your relationships, your body, people and situations, the energies, and how these things are created and built up, the structures of that, all of that can keep changing.
And how many times you didn't change or you didn't do the steps or things what it requires because it would be too easy. Your life would be just too easy and too much fun. So everything that brings up, would you destroy now, create? Right now.
Without waiting.
Yeah. Wow.
So
That's
amazing.
cool.
So,
do you have any questions, actually? You can type it in the chat box, you can unmute yourself, or you can ask from the translators. What else is really possible now? What magic can you create with yourself, with relationships, with your body?
Actually, what is the space that opened up now? Because this call is translated to 15 different languages around the world.
Amazing. Wow. It's just so cool energy, guys. Thank you for your presence and for being here with us. It's wow, really.
So thank you for all the translators and everyone who made it possible.
Thank you, guys.
Hello.
You're so great. Hello.
Hi. Arabic?
Yes.
Okay, someone asked, shall I keep asking these questions with my body? How can we have a good relationship, me and my body?
How can we have good relationship with our body? Yeah, it's a nice question.
Can we continue just asking these questions?
Yes, because when you ask a question, it can open up a space, and by opening up that space, the possibilities start to show up of that space. With a question, you open up always a different space. So, and it's not always about the words, but the energy behind it. So you can even ask that question of what the fuck else is possible? if for you that creates more. So you can really ask questions about relationship with your body, relationship with your partner, relationship with money, many different ways, and each and every question can open up a different space or open up different spaces together, which creates different combinations of possibilities. So we would really recommend everyone, and we would like to empower everyone with these calls to start to ask questions and start to listen your own awareness, start to listen your knowing, because with these questions you start to access your consciousness, and you start to access not just your but the consciousness of the universe. These questions, and it's any question, there is no right or wrong question, it's about you ask a question. The more questions you ask, the more spaces you can start to access. And how many questions do you have to ask? Or what is the moment when you start to open up a space that is communion? That is not 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, but communion with all spaces.
Yeah. Dogmara ask.
Okay. We had another question.
Okay.
Someone asked, how can we overcome the feeling of unsure to have a good relationship with the right person?
To be unsure?
Yeah. How to overcome the unsure relationship?
Mm-hmm.
So the question here, if you are an infinite being, Like the question is that what is a space you are functioning from? You always can ask yourself, if I'm unsure about something, what am I functioning from? Like, because what is my point of view? Like, how many points of view do I have? How many things I made significant that doesn't allow me to have success, that doesn't allow me to create what I desire to have? And then it will allow you to see the lies that you bought into about you are less, you are not worthy, you cannot find, that person is not available, not existent, all the good men, all the good women, all the worthy ones already taken by others, all these points of view. Thank you.
We have some questions on
Yes.
Turkish chat.
Yes.
Many questions, so I'll start with one. I hear myself twice.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
you
great.
have a good
How does it
relationship.
get any better than this? It's amazing.
Yes. They ask if is it okay to manipulate the other person in a relationship?
What creates more?
What do you think what women are doing all the time? You do it all the time. What's wrong with that? You know, if that creates more for everyone,
What's wrong with that?
what's wrong with that?
Like there is nothing
But-
right or wrong. It's about being in the question, like what's required for this to change, or what's required to create what I desire to have, what will create more. So anything can be a tool.
And what is manipulation for you, actually? That's the question. What do you mean about manipulation? Because if it means for you, I want everyone to do what I want, and I do everything to make it happen, that's not manipulation, that's control. Manipulation is always what creates more for everyone. You just help a little bit, you know, with manipulating the others to go that direction, but at the end, it creates more for everyone. Yeah.
I have French question here.
Yes.
So Farida is asking, how can I get back a relationship, either in family or partner or with kids?
Sorry, you mean get back, like have a relationship again with someone that I had before?
Reconquest, she used the word,
reconquest.
Okay.
Meghódít.
Uh-huh.
Reconquest. Good.
I didn't understand the question.
Yes, the question was, you know, conquesting someone, or like, you know, winning their love. And it was about how can you like get someone back or win the love of someone's again, like
family or ex-partner or kids, or
let's say in the
Yeah.
past you had an amazing relationship with someone and something happened and you would like to have that relationship, that level of relationship with that person again. And there is always a big question, because there is free will. Is that other person also choosing to have that relationship with you again, to have that level with you?
Yeah, because there is free will all the time, and if they don't want, if they don't choose to have a relationship with you again, you can do anything, it won't work. The question is, why? What's the reason?
Like, what have you made significant about
Yes.
having that relationship with that person again? Because people are changing. You changed as well, and that person changed as well.
It doesn't mean you can't have it. Just be in the question if the other person is willing to do that, the other person is willing to change or willing to choose this relationship back again with you. And when did you buy into you have to have a relationship or a good relationship with your family just because they are your family? It doesn't mean anything.
This is again, what have you made significant about it?
And it doesn't mean you can't have a good relationship with your family. You can have it. But what's the reason you want to do that?
Like you made significant the person, you made significant the family, you made significant the relationship, or you made significant both. It's important for me to have a perfect relationship with my family.
Or the people are expecting me to have a great relationship with my family. That's heavy. It's not working if you want to do it because of this.
Like, how can you have a great relationship with someone who is an asshole with you all the time? Let's say your friends expecting you to have an amazing relationship with your parents or with your brother or sister, but what if they are assholes with you all the time? The friends can expect it, but it will be shit for you. Cool.
Thank you for the questions.
We had another question.
Yes?
Someone asked, how can I meet the right person for me, or the person I wanted, like I want?
Can you please repeat the question a bit louder again?
Yeah,
I just didn't hear it.
Hard to hear.
Okay. Someone asked, how can I meet a person has the criteria like I want?
I don't get the question, sorry.
It's just breaking up too much. Hello.
Can you repeat again? Yes?
Someone asked, I wanted to meet someone has all features I want in a person.
So,
Which question could I be to meet this one?
Which questions you can ask to meet with someone?
Yeah.
Someone who really want?
Like, this is a person that they already know, or this is a person they don't know yet?
No, it's like an illusion.
Like a...
It's not a real one.
Not a real one. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I think like this whole call was full of this kind of questions, like opening up a space for really start to look at what is important for us about relationships. Like, what did we buy into about relationships? It's really amazing if we start to have no points of view, like start to have no starting point. And just one thing that it's not about nothing is significant or nothing is valuable or nothing is important. It's about what will create more. Who are those people who, if I add them to my life or if I invite them to my life, and it's not just people, who are those situations? If you really would like to have someone in your life, what is it that you expect from that person? Do you want to have sex? If you want to have sex, nothing else, be in that question. Who could contribute to my body? Who could I have sex with that would be a contribution to my body, to my being? If you expect that if you say, I'm not allowed to have sex with someone who is not my husband, not my wife, I'm not in a, standard or acceptable relationship with. That's a point of view. And what if you live in a community where this is not acceptable? Then you can ask the question, okay, what else is possible? I know my body requires this. I know this would create more for me. What else is possible here? And also, it's not impossible to find someone who will be in a relationship with you where you are continuously changing, like you are allowed to change and develop and expand continuously, and your partner will keep changing, expanding continuously. Like, who are those people who are willing to change and who would allow me to change? Not just allow me, but also honor me, being grateful for me for keep changing. And what if we are both changing at the same time and it doesn't create an opposition? It doesn't create a gap. What if this all possible? And who are these people? And it doesn't mean if you find someone who is like 50 years older than you, then, oh, this is the only one, so I should choose. Or if there are all kinds of possibilities in all different combinations of possibilities that are available, and you can choose something that creates more for you and your body in all levels, all layers, all the different ways.
Another French question from the same person.
Yes.
Do family members change when we get more awareness? We become more conscious.
What do they choose? This is the question always.
I think like many of us are doing, like searching consciousness or looking for consciousness, and you become more and more aware, and you will always have the example of those family members who are not willing to change anything at all. But you will always have those examples where certain people around you who may not be family members, who may be family members, and they are willing to change. It's just because they are willing to expand, they are looking for something more.
Yes, they are willing to change. And you are the great
inspiration for that.
And motivation for them. Oh yeah, this person, I mean, maybe it's not logic at all and it's not conscious, but unconsciously they get the energy, it's possible, and you opened up something for them so they can change. Yes, but it's up to them. What do they choose? If they are willing to change, yes, they will change, and you can be the great motivation for them. But if they are not willing to change, you can do anything. It's not working.
I think,
Khaled, you had a question.
There is another question from the same person.
Khaled typed in that.
How can I overcome?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is how to go back to, let's say, love, if there's something changing time and now the relationship. I see my experience, she is changing every hour. I'm not going to say every day, but she's changing every hour. Like, I believe we come back together. I want to make it because I'm missing.
All right. So if I heard it clearly, there is someone.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yes, we are
That's what I'm doing, please.
Yeah.
So as I understand the question was, there is someone that you had a relationship and you miss that person or miss that great relationship and you would like to have it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's required for that?
My question for you, She is changing. I'm not going to say every day, but every moment.
Yes.
I know that's
Okay.
the best.
So the question is that if that person is changing or showing a different face every day, every time, or you can ask the question if that is a contribution to you, to have someone now with you, to be with someone who is like that. Like if we say there is a standard, what creates more for you, and what creates more for you is someone who is kind all the time, or someone who is changing their face all the time. This is a standard, and standards are not working ever, because its standard may be for more people or most of the people, but uniquely, personally for you, it may not work. So we can say a certain personality is amazing. No, it can be amazing for certain people, not for everyone. The question is that what is working for you? And maybe a year later, a month later, that will work for you, but today it doesn't. Or this year, or in this lifetime, not. And you can look into it why it's not working. But if you're not willing to, let's say, acknowledge it's not working, or it's too much, or it's annoying, then you can't really look into why. Like, what is your point of view, or what is it that is, what makes it not working for you? Or what is your problem with that kind of approach, or that kind of personality or characteristics? And it's not about, because this will allow you really to look into it deeper. Why is it annoys me, or why it's not working for me? Either way, you will have more clarity about it, and you can ask more questions and have more space. Like, okay, now I recognize it's not working for me because it does this and this and this and this and this, and it doesn't create more for me. Cool. It's great because you see clearly. And maybe it's also can show up, I have this and this and this and this point of view about it. That's why it is not working for me now. So now I know I just need to clear this point of view, and then it can work for me. So it's not right, not wrong, not perfect. It's about, we need to ask questions and be honest with ourselves. What's happening? It's not their fault, it's not our fault. What is happening? What is the reason behind it that it's somehow it's a struggle? Why it is a struggle, why it is not working at the moment. And it's not about the why, but it's having clarity about it. Thank you. Thank you for your question. Actually, we are planning to have, hopefully more people knows that we have a class called Joyful Relationship. And actually, we are planning to have a telecall series about joyful relationship, which would be around and about the topic of relationships, relationship with you, relationship with money,
relationship with your body, relationship with your family, and relationship with your partner as well, of course, because so we will do that within a couple of weeks. We will send out the details with the recordings. And how does it get any better than this? Exciting.
And thank you so much for everyone for joining us today.
I know there are thousands of questions more, but we don't have that much time, and it just it's supposed to be 40 minutes call, but now it's more than an hour, which is good. But thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the wonderful, beautiful translators. Thank you for all the great questions. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your energy. We are so grateful for you. And really, what can you change now? What else is really, really possible to create the relationship, to create the life you really desire? Because you have the tools, you have the power, you have the capacity to do that, to change it. The question is, when do you choose it to start? When do you start to use these capacities? When do you start your power?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening, day, it depends where are you in the world, and see you soon. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye. Sziasztok. Hello. Ciao.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Ciao, 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 ciao.